Hey folks, we're back. That's right, a second season of the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show after every green and white game. Join me along with my co-host, Kyrie Theyre, the former NFLer and CFLer, and accomplished high school football coach Ryan Hall, as we break down each week's game for you. And new this year, we will welcome your telephone calls. So yeah, like a regular call-in show, call in, we'll chop it up with you. Can't wait to have another fun season. It's the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show. Hey folks, how's it going? However you are taking in this podcast, either live on X, Facebook, YouTube, or if you're watching this later, however you're doing it, I do appreciate it. We love our 3-down football around here, and got lots to talk about, not only in this game tonight, but throughout the weekend that was in the CFL. The Saskatchewan, it's always nice to go to a bye week on a win. And the Rough Riders do it in convincing fashion in Montreal, a place where they haven't won since 2021. And if I'm not mistaken, in 2021, they won that game halfway through the third quarter because of inclement weather. And it looked like it was going to be that way here in this game, as there was a 25-minute delay because of lightning and rain. But they do come back out, and when the Riders went to the break, they were kicking the crap out of Montreal, and they went out and finished the job. 34-6 over the Alouettes. The Rough Riders were much more prepared than Montreal. Corey Mace outcoached Jason Moss. His team, Moss's team that is, looked undisciplined, looked unprepared. Now, in fairness to Jason Moss and his team, they didn't have their starting quarterback, Davis Alexander. They didn't have their two best receivers, Austin Mack and Tyson Philpott. They lost their starting center, Justin Lawrence, in that game for a good chunk of that game. They played most of the game without their starting safety, the best safety arguably in the CFL, in Marc-Antoine Dequoy. And they didn't play with one of the best corners in the CFL, Kabion Ento, who was a game-time decision and didn't dress for the game. So they had to juggle up their secondary, and they just looked pathetic. Defensively, they kind of hung around, but offensively, the Montreal Alouettes were absolutely atrocious, like bad. Like, I said this last week or the week before I lost touch. I don't know how dudes like Caleb Evans stay in this league this long. I've never played in the CFL. I've never been an athlete at the level Caleb Evans is. I'm not saying he's not a deserving athlete, okay? But how is he staying in the league? That guy is not a good CFL quarterback, okay? He's not a CFL great. And you'll say, well, Ballsy, you've got Chris Streveler on your Bomber Ballsy. You have Chris Streveler on your football team in Winnipeg. I'll say this. I would not call Chris Streveler a great CFL quarterback. I'll say that. But he is an elite athlete. He is a good football player. He might not be a great quarterback, but he's a good football player. Not too many quarterbacks can take on linebackers and D linemen and inflict the punishment on them. Not too many quarterbacks in the read option lead block for their running back like he did for Theyre on a couple of plays last night. Caleb Evans doesn't do much for me. He can't throw the ball. He's not that an elusive of a runner anymore. He doesn't strike fear into your defense. Like, when he comes in the game, to me, it's like, we got the rest of the night off. Now, McLeod Bethel Thompson, he's a frustrating quarterback to watch. He's like that. He's like how do I put this? He's like a 7 dressed up as a 9, okay? If you're a heterosexual man, I'm going to say that, okay? Can I say that? I'll say that. He's like a 7 dressed up as a 9. You take her out on a date, and she's looking kind of promiscuous. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll get a little flirty, and who knows? Maybe I'll get to second or third base at the end of the night. And at the end of the night, you get your hopes up, and she just kind of teased you. That's what McLeod Bethel Thompson is as a quarterback. Like, he makes some plays. One game he's that guy like he was in Calgary the week before. And then he comes out here and it's like, wah, wah, wah. Just a brutal effort. I think he threw for 116 yards. Like, when you see him play like that, you're like, maybe you should retire, bro. And then Caleb Evans. Nah, sorry, not anything to write home about. Give me a Canadian quarterback. Like, once again, I'll get on that train again. Give me Adam Sinagra from Calgary, the Heck Crichton Trophy winner, the French dude who the French love. They love their French-speaking athletes. Have him play quarterback. Not now, but why wouldn't he get a legitimate shot to be a third-string quarterback? But we keep rolling these guys out. Now, speaking of third-string quarterbacks, Tommy Stevens can't break a pane of glass with a pass either, the Penn State guy. But he is like Streveler. He's a great athlete. So I guess he serves some value on a roster because except for one time this year, he's unstoppable on 3rd and short. He's Mr. Automatic. So, he is worthy of a roster spot. Is he a great quarterback? No. Will he ever be a great quarterback? Probably not. He's a gadget guy. Chris Streveler is kind of a gadget guy too. I think he has a little bit more street cred. He's got a bigger resume. He has thrown for some yards and touchdowns and led his team to victory like he did last night, although that was a defensive performance. And we'll get into the other CFL games. But yeah, crazy. On the other side of things, you got Trevor Harris. What did he have again tonight? I'm by myself. By the way, I'm by myself tonight. I should tell you that because Ryan Hall is with his son on a trip. I think they went to Scotland or England or something like that. And then I actually was asked by Kyrie Zaber, the Angry Bird, to come down to Oklahoma this weekend and join him because he's having a retirement party. He's officially retiring from the CFL and football. Yeah, he hasn't played for a while. But his official retirement weekend's this weekend. So, Kyrie, if you see this later, there'll be something in the mail for you. And also, congratulations on a great career. Sorry I couldn't make it. I do apologize. Had to work on the car a lot. Couldn't even go watch my kid last night in Winnipeg. Had to be at Crestview Chrysler today. But Kyrie Zaber can't join me either. So it's just me and you. If you want to chime in on the chats on this August long weekend, Feel free to on X, Facebook, YouTube. I think we'll even sync the Instagram chats in here. And we have our phone line, 306-992-6955. 306-992-6955. I want to thank Leander for being behind the scenes, getting this all set up here in the Our Balls Are Bigger post-game show. Yeah, Trevor Harris, though, decent game once again. Once again, give me 1 second here. This is on the fly. I know, great preparation, Ballsy, but I just wanted to see here I just got the stats before I came on the air here. Oh, stats is something we got to talk about too. So let's see. Because he had a streak of, was it 10 straight games, I think, with 70% completion percentage or better. And today he went... 70.3% completion percentage for Trevor Harris. Threw for just under 300 yards, couple of touchdowns, no picks. Riders win the football game 34-6. We got a caller right out of the chute. Let's head out on the hotline. Now, who am I speaking with here? Hi, who's that? Is this Ryan? Hey, Ryan, how's it going, bud?
Hey, Ballsy, how's it going?
Good, man. How's it going? Ryan Douglas and Moose Jaw. So what do you think your Rough Riders, 7-1?
Pretty good. I was impressed with the game tonight, that's for sure.
What impressed you the most? There was a lot to like. What impresses you the most about this team so far?
You know what? It's tough to say, but I was impressed with. I think I was most impressed with the defense tonight, just because. I'm always impressed with Harris and his playing, but just impressed with the defense. Even though it was only McLeod Bethel Thompson, the Riders at times have trouble stopping him, and we made Montreal, who's a good team. Totally different team with Davis Alexander. Look like a pedestrian team today.
So I do think it's a statement win for the Riders. The Riders are banged up too. Montreal, somebody said, well, Ballsy, we're banged up too. They are. The Riders are banged up, but Montreal, no starting QB, two best receivers, best safety in the league, arguably. You got you're starting one of your best corners out. Your center goes down. It's kind of hard to get. It's kind of hard to, if I'm a Rider fan, I'm excited, but I'm also tempering my excitement a bit. But but I'll tell you what, Ryan, 7-1, they're the best team in the league, and they're 2 games in front of everybody in the West. That's got to make you feel good.
Just stack wins at the beginning of the year. Just stack wins. Yeah,
you're absolutely, because that's what we talk about, right? Early season equity. You saw what happened last year with this team. I don't think they'll have that 8-game lull again. If I was to ask you this, what on offense, Trevor Harris is Trevor Harris. He's having a great year. There's no doubt about it. But which unit is more impressive to you? The Riders' offensive line with their injuries and the way they've been able to adapt, or the receiving core with their injuries and the way they've been to adapt? Look at Tommy Neal with the touchdown today.
Yeah, no, I would be more impressed with the O-line just because of the issues we've had with all the injuries the last couple of years. This year, they're, like you said on your show, they've navigated it quite well this year. And having said that, they're navigating the injuries at receiver quite well too.
Well, you're right. It's close. It's
stepping up when they need to.
Yeah, it's a coin flip, but I go with you, Ryan, because listen, people talked about AJ Ouellette and how he looks this year, a little more speed. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but guys aren't getting touched 4 or 5 yards down the field. Like Mario Anderson comes in there and he looks like Corey Sheets behind that old line.
Yeah,
and the way
I was impressed. I was impressed with the way Mario Anderson looked, but I to a degree, I kind of think Montreal, I don't want to say they gave up, but they didn't look like they were fighting the same way when he was in anyways.
Yeah, you're right. And I think they talked about it on the TSN broadcast, which I think they did correctly. Corey Mace has always been a guy that rotates 9 defensive linemen. He did it back to his days in Toronto as the DC, and he's doing it here, and the Riders look fresh up front. Montreal only had 5 defensive linemen. One guy was Wynn coming off an injury, and of course, Sean Lemon coming off, he had the gambling suspension, then the PED suspension, and he's back. And they had an old D-line, and they seemed to wear out. They were on the field a lot because that offense was pathetic for Montreal.
Yeah, at times I even forgot that Lemon was playing this game. Is how we kept him in check. Like, I think he's going up against Peyton Collins most of the night. His first game back since the very first game of the year.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you a question here, Ryan. You're we've broke bread before and talked with, and I know you're a knowledgeable football fan. I think Philadelphia Eagles fan too, right, Ryan?
Yeah, you got that right.
Okay, so I got to ask you this question. So and I want to preface this by saying I am a fan of this guy as a player. I'm a fan of his as a person, but he hasn't had a consistent year. Brett Lothar. How concerned are you as a fan that you will be playing a key game to get to a Grey Cup or to win a playoff game, and Brett Lothar has to come in for, like, let's say even like a 46-yard field goal? How concerned are you about whether he'll make it or not? Like, are you finding yourself holding your breath when he comes in to kick field goals?
Definitely, I'm on the fence. Like, I like him. I think he might bounce back, but then, when a game's on the line, I'm legit worried. I don't know. When he finally hit the uprights on that one kick, I said to Danya, well, there, he finally missed one.
Hey, before I let you go, because I wanted to get into this too, and I'm asking the people out there, so you'll be the first guy I ask. Now take your green and white goggles off, okay? Don't look at this as impartially as you can. If I gave you a choice,
I can.
If I gave you a choice, who's the MOP right now? Is it Bo Levi Mitchell or is it Trevor Harris?
Well, I'm going to put my green goggles on and say it's Trevor Harris because I'm kind of getting tired of how everyone's in love with Bo Levi again, to be honest.
Really? Did you watch the game today?
Don't get me wrong. He's playing awesome, though. They're both playing awesome.
Yeah. Are you just saying that because you don't like Bo Levi Mitchell and you hate him?
Hate's a strong word, but yeah, there's something there. I've always been, you know what? Even when Trevor Harris was on the other teams, I've always been a fan of his.
Yeah,
the way he conducts himself.
Yeah.
And he's. I think he's playing every bit as good as Bo Levi. Really, we might not. There's a stat that they showed today. We maybe have a little higher percentage of 2-and-outs than most teams, but other than that, I don't know. I just think when he's. You could say the same thing with Bo Levi. If they're both in the zone on a roll, untouched, they can pick you apart.
Yeah, two very different personalities, though. Trevor Harris is just more reserved, just a more reserved, more even-keeled guy. Bo Levi Mitchell has got a personality. He's a gunslinger. He does something. He points at the bench, even at his buddy Mark Killam today. So, I just want good quarterbacking in this league, and we're seeing it from those two guys. Ryan,
yeah, for sure.
Ryan, thanks for the call, man. You take care, okay, bud?
Okay, have a good one.
And thanks for checking it out. Robert, bye, man. Robert Campbell sends a message. Hey, Michael, great to see your son flying down the field on special teams for the Bombers last night. Congrats to Ethan. Yeah, thanks, Robert. It was bittersweet. At least I got to watch the game, and he was flying around playing. He played pretty hard and pretty fast, and I'm pretty proud of him. Cutting his teeth on special teams. That's why. Listen, the ratio is important because it lets a kid like my kid learn how to play the game, get paid money to do it, putting his body on the line, and special teams in the CFL. You get to run down and you get to still be a part of the game. There's a lot of special teams plays, and they're meaningful. It's not like the NFL or college where you run down and touch the guy on the back because it's a fair catch. Like, look today, Jackson Ford, the grandson of the rider great Al Ford, runs down, makes a great special teams play, gets a chance to celebrate, gets a chance to run around and still play some meaningful snaps. That's why I love our game. You got to do something with the ball on every play for the most part in the CFL. Speaking of kickers, I wrote this down, man. So they lose 34-6, but how about those kicks for Jose Maltos Diaz? This guy's last three made field goals, 3 for 3, 58, 56, 54 yards. 58 and then 56 and 54 today. What a great game from Jose Maltos Diaz. I was thinking, who are the best kickers in the CFL? Now, all time, like if I was to say GOAT kicker, probably I'd go with Rene Paredes, although he's having a tough year like Brett Lothar this year. Well, no, the GOAT kicker's Louis Pasaglia, but I mean in the last, since 2010, I'd go with Paredes just ahead of Sean White. But this year, if I'm ranking kickers, I'm probably going Jose Maltos Diaz, probably Sergio Castillo. No, probably Sean White, although he kicks indoors for half of his games, although the roof has been open at BC Place. So probably Jose Maltos Diaz, Sean White, and then Sergio Castillo, kicker for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That was the only bright spot for Montreal. So when I'm doing Waldo's Warriors, you already know who I'm picking on special teams for Montreal, and I really don't know if I have another player of the game for the Alouettes, to be quite honest. All right, we're going to still take your calls. Thanks to Ryan for helping me out. Give me a break by weighing in. Love you to weigh in too. 306-992-6955. How you feeling about your Riders? 7-1. They don't ask how. They ask how many. And they don't, we don't look back in the standings and go, oh, yeah, well, the Alouettes didn't have this guy. They didn't have this guy. They didn't have this guy. Riders are without some dudes too. And they put a whooping on Montreal tonight, 34-6. We'll take our first sponsor break and be back right away. The Italian Star Deli, providing Regina and area with quality specialty products since 1966. When you visit the Italian Star Deli, you're truly part of the family. So drop by any time and they'll help you find whatever your heart and palate may desire. Whether you're looking for olive oil, specialty meats and cheeses, pasta, sea salt, vinegar, canned tomatoes, or one of their mouth-watering famous sandwiches. You're sure to find it and so much more at the Italian Star Deli, 1631 Victoria Avenue, Regina. The postgame show in the Canadian Football League that calls it like we see it. It's the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show, unfiltered, uncut. That's how we do it around here. I'm Ballsy, flying solo. You can weigh in like Robert Campbell has on our chat line. You can also call us 306-992-6955. The takeout of the game for the Italian Star Deli, I had a chance to sit next to Carlo Giambattista at Pete Pasco's celebration of life at the Ramada this Thursday. It was a great tribute to my buddy Pete, longtime broadcaster in this town. Did the Locker Talk show on Access. In government as a speechwriter, broadcaster at CKRM, helped me get into the business in Regina. And he passed away at the end of June from cancer, 5-year battle with liver cancer, coaching amateur football in Regina. And so I got to sit by Carlo. Great job by his son, Jake, Pete's son, Jake, with that eulogy and other good speakers as well. So anyway, our takeout of the game for the Italian Star Deli. There were a couple. An honorable mention goes to Marcus Sales on Cole Speaker as he closes quickly on Cole Speaker and smacks him after about a 10-yard catch. And Speaker did well just to catch the football. It was really a bang-bang play. But so that was my takeout of the game early, but then it got the honorable mention after Shane Ray won a Grey Cup with the Argos. I think he won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos, and he's with your Riders now. Slow going to start the year, had 2 sacks last week, and had on a third down gamble, had an absolutely punishing hit on McLeod Bethel Thompson. I'm sure his neck or head, they'll be feeling it if it isn't right now. McLeod Bethel Thompson will be feeling it tomorrow for sure. That was a hellacious hit. Ball comes out. It was ruled a scoop and score touchdown by Caleb Sanders, but then it was called an incomplete pass, which I kind of gathered it would be right away. And then Jason Moss, he challenged for roughing the passer, which, okay, I know he's in desperation mode, trying to keep the game alive. I get why he did it, but it wasn't roughing the passer. Like, come on. This is football. We're not playing flag football. This is tackle football. So that's my takeout of the game. Shane Ray on McLeod Bethel Thompson. Want to talk about what we saw tonight at the stadium? Oh, Ty says he thought that was a fumble by McLeod for the TD by Sanders. No, I think he was down. I think he was starting to throw it. He hadn't thrown it, but he was down, and then the ball came out. But it was a great hit. Riders got the ball, turnover on downs, and all's well that ends well for them because they go and score a touchdown on that drive and really put the game out of reach as they go into the 34-6 win. Montreal shows up. When they win, they show up. That stadium, it's rickety, it's old. It is the dumpiest stadium in the league. Now, the only one I've never been to is BMO Field because both Rider games against Toronto, when I was the voice of the Riders, was played in Halifax and then in Wolfville for Atlantic Canada, the Atlantic Bowl. So I didn't get those were the Argos home games, so I never got a chance to go see BMO Field. But the stadiums I've been in, all the ones, Montreal's the dumpiest, and then it's McMahon Stadium. But it's a great setting, and it's loud in there, and it looked great on TV, and they almost had a sellout. Too bad the Alouettes didn't show up. You saw them booing. They're quick to turn on their team. They were booing in that game, but it was a nice crowd. And a lot of them stuck around even after the lightning storm and the rain, hoping their team would change things around. Here's another thing I have really good hearing. My eyes might suck, but I have really good hearing. What a great crowd in terms of the noise. But I thought the horns were banned. I thought they banned those horns. But I swear that's all I heard were horns. Now listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm against them banning the horns. I was mad they took the horns out. I'm one of the few guys who wasn't annoyed by that. Why would you take atmosphere out of a stadium? Like, they have fun. They bring horns. It's called home field advantage. Winnipeg's got the cowbells. I think the Riders even have cowbells. But Winnipeg's got the cowbells. You're not banning that. Let the air horns out. I loved it. It's great. I'm glad they either lifted that ban or just said, to hell with it. We'll just let it in. At least they're not bringing scarlet-colored dildos into the stadium like they're doing for the WNBA. Did you see that? They're throwing green dildos now on the basketball court of the WNBA. So, yeah, I was happy the horns are back at, is it Percival Molson McGill Stadium. I was happy to see them bring that back. Speaking of back, Sean Lemon's back. We kind of touched on it with Ryan. Some people are pissed off that he's back because he's, he bet on the CFL. Now he's back from a 2-game. He missed 1 year because of betting when he bet with as a member of the Stamps, 2021, on his own team's games. On his own team's games. So, I don't know. Is that? Come on, he's betting on his own team's games. Not like the Cleveland Guardians pitcher who got suspended for like some pitches that he was throwing and it was whether it was going to be a ball or a strike. In fact, a couple of Guardians pitchers now being suspended for that. So I'm not going to be holier than thou when it comes to betting. Shit, I bet on this week's action. Got 3 of the 4 right. Got this one wrong. I thought Montreal would at least cover the spread, but they got their ass handed to them tonight by the Rough Riders. So I'm not mad Sean Lemon's back, but I don't know how much gas he's got left in the tank. Now, he's been out for a while, no doubt about it, over a year, and, a year and 2 games. So it's not like he's in game shape. That's something to consider. And, so he's back. I'm just wondering how you think. Are you happy he's back? Does it look bad on the league? I don't think so. I mean, we got our odds before the game, the halftime odds, how those have changed. You see them on TV. So you're going to take the money from betting and you're going to say he can never play again. Now, if he bet against his team and has a chance to get a game-winning sack, it's a different story. And I know it's a slippery slope, but if they prove the only bet on his games, I don't really have a problem with that. Okay, we're going to step back, take another break. Once again, the number to call, 306-992-6955. Be like Ryan. Give me a call. Be my co-host because Ryan Hall and Kai Bear, not my host today. Got some other things to talk about in this game and the other goings-on in the CFL. The Rough Riders, 7-1. 2 games clear of anybody in the West as we're nearing the midway point of the CFL season for the Rough Riders, and they are on their bye week. Coming up, we'll talk about the drive of the game. This is the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show. Ward Tirecraft Regina, proud to be the last of the small-town style tire and automotive shops in the city, prioritizing the happiness of their customers and the safety of their vehicles. They've had some of the same customers for over 40 years, including yours truly, which is why I asked them to come on board as a sponsor for my shows. For all your tire and mechanical needs, go see Michael Barth and his crew at 101 Dudney Avenue. Tell them Ballsy sent you, and you get 10% off. All right, our drive of the game, brought to you by our friends at Ward Tirecraft. Thanks to Michael Barth and the gang for getting on board and being one of my founding sponsors. Riders had a couple of nice drives in the game, but when you're in Montreal, it's never an easy place to play. You're on the road. It's before the bye week. You're in Montreal. You could be distracted. The Rough Riders came out with authority, and they made a statement. The first drive of the game was the drive of the game. It was helped by a Sean Oakman objectionable conduct penalty, and took almost 7 minutes off the clock, and it ends with the touchdown Tommy Stevens 1-yard plunge. And so that was our drive of the game. Set the tone. The Rough Riders would never relinquish that lead, and they go on to a 34-6 win over the Montreal Alouettes. Riders 7-1. The Alouettes are 5-3. Talking about back to Trevor Harris. I had written it down here. Trevor Harris. I talked in one breath about McLeod Bethel Thompson kind of being that girl that will flirt with you, but tease you, but won't even give you a kiss at the door, if you know what I mean. Trevor Harris is the total opposite guy. He's reserved. He's that girl you go over to her house, or the guy if you're a female, or if you're... Anyway, if I'm not getting into sexuality, but it's the guy you go over to the guy's house or you go over to the girl's house. And listen, I can only speak as a heterosexual. I don't give a shit. So you go over to the girl's house, or she comes to your house, and you're that straight-laced guy or straight-laced girl. You just go there, you study, you talk to her about the hot chick in the class, and can you set me up? That's who Trevor Harris is. Just dependable. You know what you get from Trevor Harris, okay? You get 19 of 27, 298, 2 touchdowns, directs the offense. He is the equivalent of Phillip Rivers in the NFL. Both guys have all the mobility of a light post. They are both Christian guys, but they both think the game in an elite way. And it was pointed out on the broadcast, so this isn't me with some great hot take, but I'll just mimic what Glenn Suter said. He showed really elite quarterback play on the touchdown to Tommy Neal. He gets the snap, he looks left, but he knows he's going to go right. He's there, and then he flips his hips, and he throws right there, and Tommy Neal, open, touchdown. First touchdown as a rider, which has to feel great. And, that was just high football IQ from the Phillip Rivers, Chargers quarterback, Colts quarterback, who is actually up for induction in the Pro Football Hall of Fame next year. His buddy Antonio Gates of the Chargers went in today with his speech in Canton, Ohio. But, he is the Phillip Rivers of the CFL. That would be Trevor Harris. And I asked Ryan, so I'm asking you, if you had to pick right now, Bo Levi Mitchell or Trevor Harris, who's your MOP? I'm probably going Trevor Harris, actually. And I'll be shocked, or I'll tell you I'm shocked. Not that he's not a good quarterback. I didn't expect him to be playing his best football as a starter, arguably, at 39 years old. That tells you how much this game has changed in terms of guys looking after their body. But look at Bo Levi Mitchell. He got pushed out by Calgary after he rushed back from a shoulder injury. Now that shoulder injury, I don't think he was even fully back with Hamilton, but now he's back. Last year was no fluke. I don't buy this whole stats and garbage time. This guy's a flat-out stud. He kept plays alive in that game today against Edmonton. And I'd probably give the edge to Harris, but two graybeards, Harris and Bo Levi Mitchell, I think are right now 1A and 1B. But that's how things can change in the CFL. It's a week-to-week league. And not that long ago, we were talking about the Calgary Stampeders being the class of the league, and they've dropped 3 in a row. We were talking about what's wrong with the Tiger Cats, and all of a sudden the Tabbies are 6-2. They've won 6 games in a row. All right, time for another break. Phone number to call, 306-992-6955 if you want to weigh in on anything. Riders, what you saw in the week's action, 4 games. This closed the week's action out here. Riders over the Alouettes. How do you feel about your team at 7-1? But yeah, we're going to talk next about Payson Insurance Services. It's our On the Money segment coming up next. Payson Insurance specializes in helping hard-to-insure people get coverage. They also offer a range of financial management and investment services to help secure your future. People care most about their money and their family. I personally trust Kevin. Best way to describe dealing with him are the 3 C's. He's comfortable to deal with, he cares about your future, and he's confident in helping you make the right financial decisions. Payson Insurance. Give them a call, 306-596-0244. Yeah, thanks to Kevin Payson, longtime amateur coach, multiple provincial winner with the Miller Marauders, and of course he was a Regina Ram and a Western Mustang. So thanks to Kevin. He's in the South End. I trust him with my money, trust him with yours. I can speak, like I just said in that ad. This guy knows what he's talking about, and he cares about your financial wealth and future and dumbs it down for dummies like me. On the money today, Trevor Harris made a couple of great throws. McLeod Bethel Thompson was junk today, so he didn't. Sorry, McLeod, you called out the TSN panel. I'm not naive to think you watch this, but if it somehow gets, of course he watches this. Everybody watches this. Yeah, what am I saying? So, but McLeod wasn't very good. Didn't have a lot of weapons besides Sneed, who was helping him out. So my on the money's with the Rider quarterback. He threw a couple of nice throws to Dante Myers, one corner route, which was a beauty. On the far sideline, well, on the near sideline, away from the benches, closer to your TV screen, as it were. But I would say his best throw on the money was the one to Keyshawn Johnson in the back corner of the end zone. Another uniqueness about the CFL, when you get in the score zone, like inside the 10, if it's the NFL or American college, it tightens up there. It's really tight. It's hard to, your offense is bogged down sometimes. Not in the CFL. You still got another, if you're at the 8 or the 10, there's still 30 yards to work with, and Trevor Harris used every inch there as Montreal had 2 safeties high. He had Keyshawn kind of run a skinny, looked like a little mini post corner to the back corner of the end zone, and it was almost a back shoulder throws. The DB was in position on kind of a double move, and Keyshawn Johnson makes the catch, toe taps inside the right corner of the end zone, and that was the 28-6 dagger, the knockout punch for the Rough Riders on the road in Montreal as they go on to the 34-6 win. So that's the on the money play for Kevin Payson and the Kevin Payson Payson Insurance and Financial Services in South Regina, just off Pasqua. Speaking of DBs, the Rider DBs, the one thing they do, that they're encouraged to make plays. So use your eyes to make plays, break on the ball. Saw a couple of good breaks today. Talked about the Sales hit on Speaker. There was a pass underneath to, I think it was Speaker again, and Tavon Campbell comes over and breaks it up with some great closing speed. Tavon Campbell at 30, I was like, gee, does he still have that speed he had when he was in the NFL? The reason why he stuck around with the Chargers and the Jags and getting a chance with the Jets. Yeah, he still got that speed. Great free agent signing by the Riders. Somebody online said Tommy Stevens is the best free agent signing in the CFL. I'm trying to rack my brain. I think James Vaughters has been great for Calgary or for Winnipeg. He's probably been their best defensive player. I think he's been better than Tommy Stevens for a free agent signing by any team. But even on the Riders, Tavon Campbell's been the guy. He has been a great free agent signing. But every now and then, he gets burned with a double move. But he's not the only one. The Bombers' corners, I noticed, getting burned with double moves. Montreal getting burned with double moves. What is about corners this year getting burned with the double moves? It seems like they've just, even in the Edmonton-Hamilton game, maybe I'm noticing it more that my kid's playing defense, but I'm noticing the defensive backs are really taking to town with these double moves. And Campbell got burned in this game on a double move, but it was a bad throw from McLeod Bethel-Thompson trying to go up top to the former Elk and BC Lion, Alexander Hollins, and it would have been a touchdown had he let him, but it kind of threw off his back foot, didn't step into the throw, and Tavon Campbell could get back on the play and have the ball hit him in the back as he was scrambling into position. So that's another note that I had written down about this game. Okay. And speaking of defensive plays, I'm going to mention this. Actually, I'll hold off on that. That'll be for my Waldo's Warrior. It'll be part of my Waldo's Warrior. Okay, so let's take a break. When we come back here, it's the lit player or play of the game for JLB Electric. At JLB Electric, their mission is to provide top-quality residential and commercial electrical services in Regina and surrounding area. They're committed to delivering efficient, reliable, and affordable electrical solutions, including new construction wiring, renovations, service upgrades, and 24-hour emergency assistance. Their team of licensed electricians ensures exceptional service from start to finish. They prioritize safety, customer satisfaction, and expert workmanship. As Regina's trusted one-stop shop for electrical contracting, they are dedicated to powering our community with excellence. Okay, my lit play of the game is not really a play. It's what happened this weekend, man. I don't like getting political on this show, so I'm not into tree huggers. I'm not into I love my environment. I'm not against electric. But I'm pro gas, pro oil. I know where I live. Okay, not against it. But I'm not going to say I'm into buying this, Al Gore climate change. Oh, everything's going to wilt away. We're in trouble. Yet he flew around peddling that bullshit on planes and stuff, with his big carbon footprint. But I will say something is up. Something is up. I don't remember it being like this ever. And we had one game get delayed and then canceled here in Regina. We had two today. Now, they're just regular storms, but we had the Hamilton game get delayed by an hour because of electricity. Lit. You get it? Lit. Electricity. And then today, once again, in Montreal. Last time the Riders won in Montreal was 2021. That game got called because it was delayed by thunderstorms and severe thunderstorms. They had another lightning show with rain in Montreal. Just a 25-minute delay. Fortunately, the players could come back on the field. But yeah, our JLB Electric lit play of the game was just the fact that we had two weather delays here in the CFL. It's great being a summer league because you're the only game in town in terms of professional sports other than baseball. So there's no other football, there's no hockey going on. You really got the lay of the land here in the CFL. But it's coming with challenges now with forest fires and smoke and these weather patterns. So not like we haven't had thunderstorms before, but I don't remember this kind of close together. I could be wrong, but interesting times. So that's for JLB Electric. This from Rob. Rob says, Trevor Harris has surprised me this season. This week I'd give him the nod for MOP. That's right. And Trevor wouldn't be the MOP without the outstanding work of the offensive line. They do not get enough credit. Collins comes back today. Noel was playing on the O-line. You had Zach Fry back, who has really come on. I really like how he's developed as an offensive line player for the Rough Riders. And Jamarcus Hardrick, man, that guy, I've never personally talked to him. Well, actually, I have back when his first stint was with the Riders when I was doing sideline reporting, but I haven't talked to him since he went to Winnipeg and then came back to Saskatchewan. And this guy is, he's aging like a fine wine after missing a good chunk of the season last year. Definitely a mainstay at right tackle for the Riders and so infectious. He was the first guy to run over to Tommy Neal and bear hug him and say, hey, man, I mean, I'm imagining what he said, but hey, man, welcome to the effing team. Glad to have you, and gave him a big bear hug after his first Riders touchdown. So, yeah, I agree with you, Rob, though. Coin flip, but I'd put him ahead of Bo Levi Mitchell. All right, let's take another break here. And when we come, actually, no, we don't. We're done with that. I'm gonna do Waldo's Warriors for the home expert team. Paul Waldo, 3-time Grey Cup champ. 306-502-5355. He switched real estate companies. He started his own with his brother. So I had to, I'll have to voice up his ad. That's why I got to kind of voice it cold here. But give him a call, 306-502-5355. You want to get in the real estate game with the 3-time Grey Cup champ. He's on Victoria Avenue, right by Famous Insurance Company. They don't pay my bills, so I won't plug them, but it's right there. Right next to him on Victoria Avenue is where home expert team is. And Paul, of course, 3-time Grey Cup champ, played for the Regina Thunder, played for the U of S Huskies, coaching Regina Flag with his son Cruz in the league, and he's coaching the U of S Huskies when they get fired up here later this summer and into the fall. So thanks to him for getting on board. So the Waldo's Warriors, we picked the players of the game for the Rough Riders and the Alouettes. We'll start with the Alouettes. Offense, if I'm forced to, I'm picking Sneed. Okay, I'll pick Sneed if I'm forced to. On defense, nothing's really jumping off the page at me. Ruffin got thrown into a tough situation playing corner for Kabion Ento, who was a game-time decision and couldn't dress. So I'll probably go with Ruffin on the corner. And on special teams, well, you got to go with the kicker, man. I already mentioned that. The kicker, Jose Maltos Diaz. A 56-yarder and a 54-yarder, accounting for the only points for the Alouettes, 34-6. For the Riders on offense, I think I know who I'm going to go with. Just give me 1 second. I want to look at the stats here. I'm going to say that it is Dante Myers. Targeted 6 times, made 5 catches for 136 yards, 48 yards after catch or after contact, 27.2-yard average, a 58-yard gainer was his longest. So I'm going to go with him, even though Keyshawn Johnson and Tommy Neal had touchdown grabs in the game. On defense, now C.J. Rivas led them with defensive tackle 7. This guy, Jameer, hold on here. Give me a second. Fat fingers got off my game tracker here. I'm actually surprised we got CFL stats, to be quite honest with you. I'll get into that in a minute. C.J. Rivas had 7 tackles. Malik Carney, another strong game, 5 tackles. Shane Ray was a physical force. Mike Rose, 3 defensive tackles and a sack. But I'm going with Jameer Thurman. He had 2 tackles and a brilliant interception, diving interception when Montreal was getting some momentum, kind of baited the quarterback, McLeod Bethel-Thompson, to throw it in the middle zone, comes across and makes an athletic leaping interception. They always say defensive guys are receivers that can't catch. This guy, very athletic play. So Jameer Thurman, my Waldo Warrior for defense. And on special teams, actually, I'll give it a tie. DeMarcus Fields, 22, played a solid game on the units. Number 22 is physical out there making tackles. I don't think I have his tackle total here, special teams wise. Let's see here. Actually, I do. 2 special teams tackles for DeMarcus Fields. So I'm going to go with him as my special teams player. Honorable mention, though, to Joe Couch, who has been mediocre as a punter, in my opinion. But today, 4 punts, a 55.5-yard average, 78 was his long. Actually, can I call an audible? You damn rights I can, because it's my show. Joe Couch is the Waldo Warrior, the punter. Also, some great holds on field goals. There was no issues there. And then the runner-up was DeMarcus Fields. But I noticed those 2 guys on special teams have already mentioned Jackson Ford. So it's Dante Myers, offense, defense, Waldo Warrior, Jameer Thurman, the middle linebacker, special teams, Joe Couch, honorable mention, DeMarcus Fields for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. All right, so that's about all I wanted to say about the Rider Alouette game, except that I talked to Ryan about this. The offensive line has been great. The receiving core has really picked up the slack. No KSB. Sam Emlis on the 6th game. Mitch Picton's been in and out of the lineup. I know he was dressed tonight. Who else is slipping my mind? We've had guys in and out of the lineup, and they don't miss a beat. Keyshawn Johnson, Dante Myers, Tommy Neal comes in, does a great job. Del Duncan Busby at times. They've really done a great job. And a lot of it goes to the quarterback, too. He can throw you open. He can put you in great spots. Trevor Harris has done that much. I call him Phillip Rivers. I'm a Chargers fan, so I know how Phillip Rivers played. And he played with a bunch of nobodies a lot of times because of injuries at the end of his career with the Chargers, and would still throw for 4,500, 5,000 yards a season. So Trevor Harris doing a great job helping a makeshift receiving core continue. Robustelli, another guy. So great job by the Riders receiving core. So that's all I wanted to really say about that game. Let's go rewind the week that was in the CFL. Let me just have a quick drink here. It's a lot of talking for one dude. Hey, it's a lot of talking for one guy. People say I like to hear myself. I don't know if that's true or not. Hamilton at Edmonton, the early game delayed for an hour because of lightning strike and rain. Bo Levi Mitchell, already talked about him, playing great. There's a few Elkimos that were good. That Rankin, Justin Rankin, really good running back. Not only in the backfield, but out of the backfield. He's a dual threat. That's a nice player to watch. And then when I'm looking at Edmonton, man, they're 1-6. They played hard against the Riders. I thought they held strong with the Hamilton Tiger Cats today. In fact, they should have won the game. Right before the half, it's 3rd down and goal, and they get stopped on 3rd and 1 with the backup quarterback Schneider. It looked like he had scored the play before, but the video assistance comes down and said, nope, he was down. His right butt cheek went down on the ground before the ball could cross the goal line. On the next play, he tries to go off the left edge. Amos crashes down and stops him. And right before half, that would have been a big touchdown for the Elkimos. They couldn't score. They go to half tied. Back and forth in the second half. Pretty well played. Even after the delay, Bo Levi Mitchell leads them down. Keandre Smith with I think he had a couple of touchdowns in the game. And the Tiger Cats take a lead, 28-24. Edmonton's coming down. Cody Fajardo looks like he secured the starting role for the Edmonton football team. Throws a corner route to Keon Julian Grant. He's in behind coverage. He had a couple of nice catches earlier in the game. One for a long gainer down the sideline by the Edmonton bench. He's open. About a minute to play. Corner of the end zone. Perfectly thrown ball by Cody. And he drops it. And the Elks drop to 1-6. Like, they don't stink, but they stink. Like, they're 1-6. They're just cursed. They're cursed. and at the expense of sounding like Donald Trump. And I know you'll say, oh, right-wing MAGA, spewing your right-wing MAGA. No, I'm not. At the expense of sounding like Donald Trump. They should have never changed their name. They did it because of a woke politician who wouldn't renew the lease on the stadium, as the story goes, if they didn't change their name. So they changed their name, and they changed it to a stupid name. There's no such thing as Elks. It's elk. You don't go shoot elks. I shot elk. Did you get a bunch of elks? No, I got a bunch of elk. Did you get a bunch of bucks? No, I got buck. I shot a buck. That's right, Leander, right? Buck. Elk. I know they call them bucks in the NBA and elks in the CFL. Well, they're the Elkimos to me. They're the Elkimos to me. I know there's another online guy doing a show that calls them the Elkimos. Get out of here. I'm the guy that said it first. So get out of here. All right? Put the name back to Eskimos. The Elks are cursed. You already got the polar bear on the truck. You already have the double E back to the old uniforms, which, by the way, are sweet uniforms. My girlfriend, who doesn't give a shit about sports, in fact, she'll gladly watch football while I rub her feet. She loved to watch the Bombers Argos game yesterday because Ethan was playing, but because I rubbed her feet and legs. And she laid on the couch while I watched the Riders and the Owls today. But because there was a delay, they showed the Edmonton-Hamilton game, like the highlights. And she said, I love the Eskimos unis. She calls them the Eskimos. And actually, she doesn't call them uniforms. She calls them costumes. True story. I like the Eskimos costumes, she said. I like the Eskimos costumes. Even my girlfriend, who doesn't think they're points in the NBA, thinks they're baskets. She'll go, how did the Lakers get 128 baskets? It's not baskets, dear. It's points, baby. She said the Eskimos costumes. I'm going to say it right now. Put their name back, and the bad karma's gone and the good karma's back. I'm a white 52-year-old man. I have no racism in my body, okay? I don't. Anybody that knows me knows that. Put it back to Eskimos. The alumni want it. The fans want it. Just a few woke people don't want it. And I don't even think they're not even Inuit people. Great. It's just like we're really going to get mad because a white girl with blonde eyes is wearing American Eagle jeans and you're going to boycott it? Get out of here with that crap. Come on. Put it back to Eskimos. And you'll go on a 4-game winning streak because I don't care how hard you play. You still stink. You stink. We need Edmonton back in this league. I don't want to win in Grey Cups. I don't want them winning Grey Cups, okay? But I want them winning games so the damn fans come back. The ones that go there should be applauded. A lot of empty seats, but they should be applauded. Come on. Ward says, Trudeau woke elk word. Can you Leander, give me my pen back. I need it for visuals. Can you give me my pen? You're not my gopher boy, but give me the pen for a minute. I got to say something else here while I got a second. Unfiltered here, okay? Yeah. Can you even find it? I just threw it. Here, grab me my keys because I want to throw something else. My keys are right there. I just want to throw something else, okay, for effect. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Leander. Did I wreck the camera? Katy Perry's dating Justin Trudeau? Katy Perry is dating Justin Trudeau. What? Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau out for supper? How does Justin Trudeau land Katy Perry? No! Can I get off the world? I even told my girlfriend today on the couch, she goes, no way, that can't be right. What the hell's going on? She even said that. Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau. Unreal. How did I get into that? I forget how I got diverted into that. But anyway, Eskimos. Make it the Eskimos. Chris Morris, you know you want to do it. Change it to the Eskimos. You will get some bad publicity, but you're going to get publicity. I bet you change it to the Eskimos, you are unbeatable at home, and you'll win probably 5,000 to 10,000 fans back. Am I right or what? Am I right? Trader Kevin says, agree, Eskimos, not this woke crap. And if you're not going to bring back Eskimos, get a better name than Elks. First of all, it's grammatically incorrect. I don't care what anybody at the U of A tells me. Number two, it's stupid. Even call them the Evil Empire. Evil Empire. Because that's what everybody called them when they kicked the shit out of everybody in the CFL all those years. I hated Edmonton growing up as a kid. Hated them. Because all they did was win. Now it's a free space in the bingo card. And I don't like to say that because I like Mark Killam. I like Ed Hervey. He's rough around the edges. I don't dislike Cody. Cody doesn't like me because of how he left, and I call it like I see it. I didn't like how he threw his team under the bus and whined and cried when he left. But he's the toughest guy on the field. He looks like he's got that starting job back. There's lots of guys. I like Jake Seresna. Worked out with him at the Brick House Gym. I like a lot of those dudes on the Edmonton team. But they're not the Elks. Antlers up. What the hell's that? Antlers up! Get out of here. Get out of here. Eskimos. 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 Let's go. 1-6. How about the Hamilton Tiger Cats? Haven't won a Grey Cup since 1999 when Ronnie Lancaster was the head coach. And they might be well on their way with Bo Levi Mitchell. Started 0-2. Scott Milanovich, who's won a Grey Cup as a head coach with the Toronto Argonauts in 2012, the 100th Grey Cup, if I'm not mistaken, on home turf against the Calgary. Was it the Calgary Stampeders? Yes, it was. Did they beat Calgary? 2012? Yeah, it was. Calgary. Anyway. He's got his team rolling. 6-2. But isn't he lucky? He benched Bo Levi Mitchell. If Taylor Powell doesn't, and Bo was pouting. Bo was mad. Bo was pissed off. There, I could have thrown that bottle, hey? I drank all that. Talked too much. Rant too much. Who knows what happens? Taylor Powell's playing. Bo Levi Mitchell's not playing. Taylor Powell gets hurt. Bo Levi Mitchell. Hey, I like me some Brady Oliveira. Because he's my kid's teammate now, and I like him. He's a hard-nosed football player. But I didn't think he should have been the MOP last year. I thought it should have been Bo Levi Mitchell. Bo's a stud. That was no fluke, and he's on pace again. Jamie says, Sask Hamilton Grey Cup. Right now, you'd have to think so. If I'm to do the power rankings right now, off the top of my head with nothing written down, it's not that hard. It's a 9-team league. The Riders, number 1. Not just because of the record. They got a defense that keeps in every game. They got a quarterback that's playing his best football at 39. At 39 years old. So they're number 2. Number 3, Montreal, Calgary. Boy, Montreal and Calgary, both injured teams. That's why it's hard to judge those guys. I'll probably go Montreal at 3. I'll go Calgary 4. I'll go Winnipeg 5. Number 6. BC 6. Ooh, but that's like BC 6. Well, Edmonton's 9. Ottawa's 8. Toronto 7. So, yeah. I think that's fair. Sask, Hamilton, Montreal, Calgary, Winnipeg, BC, Toronto, Ottawa, Edmonton. And speaking of that, let's go to Toronto, Winnipeg. How often in a game do you see 2 return TDs. By the way, I was a proud dad. My kid was one of the lead blockers on the wedge when Vavel ran back his first ever kick return for the Bombers. Beautiful touchdown. So I took some pride in that. I never thought I'd really pay attention to a wedge blocker, but when your kid goes and when you're on special teams, which I'm happy they have in the CFL, but that's the equivalent of being a ditch digger. They're important ditch diggers, but nobody wants to be. Hi, I'm a ditch digger. What do you do, Leander? Well, I pick up roadkill on the highway. I'm the roadkill guy on the highway. It's probably a good paying job, but who wants to be the roadkill guy? That's what the special teams dudes are. My son, because Toronto with their cross kicking, he's a 200-pound man. He's a 6-foot, 200-pound man who works out every day and is pretty strong. Ward's got quite a rant there I'll have to get to. This kind of went sideways, didn't it, Leander? You're smiling, though, so you must like it. Leander's great behind the scenes. He cuts up a lot of content for me, so I bet you he's ready to cut this up. Anyway, so Toronto, after they kicked it to Vavel, he runs it back for a touchdown. They decide to do these moonshots. So high arcing kick that doesn't go that deep. And there's this 300-pound defensive lineman running full speed, and my kid's got to stand up to him. And he got shit kicked a few times, held his ground, did a pretty good job. So, yeah, I'm watching special teams. So, anyway, 2 touchdowns, a punt return and a kick return for Trey Vavel. Nice find by Kyle Walters. They haven't even used their big free agent signing, Peyton Logan. Then you had a scoop and score. Willie Jefferson. Oh, yeah. Slick Willie showed up. I'm now a Bombers fan. My son was playing with Willie. I'm like, I get to watch Willie again, close up and cheer for Willie because he used to be a rider. I cheered for him. Now I'm on the Bombers side in terms of being a football dad. But Slick Willie hasn't shown up all year. He was a D-A-double-G, as they say, a dog. He batted down 4 balls, stripped the quarterback, and it was a person picks it up and goes in for a scoop and score. And then Cam Judge, the old rider stamp Argo All-Star, picks off on a deflected ball from Chris Strevler, who threw a heater knuckleball, picks it off and takes it back for a touchdown. So how often do you see 4 scores like that in a game? What an exciting football game. It was a lot closer than it had to be. Bombers should have won that game. Late in the game, you just need a field goal and you win. It's a 2-score game. And for whatever reason, whether it was his call or the new offensive coordinator's call, they threw a jump ball to 5'6" Jareth Stearns, who, by the way, former rider, Western Kentucky Hilltopper. I loved him when he was on the Riders. He was a professional, like a pro's pro, works hard. Same thing in Winnipeg. But the Riders have a plethora of great receivers here, so he was expendable. Free agent signing there in Winnipeg. But you're throwing a jump ball in the end zone against a 6'2" DB in McFadden? What are we doing here? But the Bombers survive 4-3, and they're not dead yet. Can't write off the Bombers yet. So they win that game. But they do have some issues in their secondary that they got to clean up. And, they miss 8, they miss 66, they miss Schoen, they miss some guys. Speaking of receivers, I was thinking, who are the best 3 receivers in the CFL? Kenny Lawler, number 1. I had him as an MOP early on here. I still have him as the best receiver in the CFL. But that Coxie kid in Toronto, he's a handful. He is a beast. He is a tank. He is a great receiver for the Argos. I think he's the second best receiver in the CFL. Then there's like a logjam at 3 for me. If he's healthy, I could seriously make an argument for Sam Emilus, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. When he's healthy, he's electrifying. I had a beep in my ear. Do you know what that was about? Did I do something there, Leander? It might have been Leander's phone. Anyway, by the way, you want to get in on the conversation, I'll let you talk and give myself a break. 306 992 6955. My top 3 receivers, Lawler, Coxie, and then I could make a case for Emilus, I could make a strong case for Nick Dembski because he does it all like Emlis. He runs the ball, he blocks, he catches. He's done it for a long time and is still doing it at a high level. But then there's Keon Hatcher, who's responded from his knee injury and pay cut in BC. And Gino Lewis had a big game for Ottawa. He's made some big plays. So you could make an argument at number 3, but the top 2 guys are Lawler and Coxie, in my opinion. There's no doubt about that. So that's my thoughts on the Winnipeg-Toronto game. And then Ottawa-Calgary. P.J. Walker in for the injured, who was concussed, Vernon Adams Jr. P.J. Walker was meh in the XFL, which is a meh league. P.J. Walker was meh in the NFL, which isn't a meh league, but he did play in the NFL. And P.J. Walker was just meh in Thursday night's game in Ottawa. Like, he had some moments. Receiver sure as hell didn't help him out, and he threw a pick 6. I'm not prepared to say he stinks or should be kicked out of the league. He needs more reps. For Calgary's sake, you hope he doesn't because you want Vernon Adams back. For my sake as a Bomber dad, I want him to play next week when the Bombers go there. Calgary's defense is still elite. Like, they held him in that game. Calgary's run game with Dedrick Mills, I don't know what happened to that run game. That O-line was kicking ass at the start of the year. They've kind of taken a step back, especially in the run game. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes going forward. But it's a week-to-week league. Just a couple weeks ago, Calgary was the best team. They came here and beat the Riders. They're unbeatable. What's happening? And then, then Calgary loses 3 games in a row, drops 3 games in a row. And you're like, okay, what's going on with the Calgary Stampeders? So, things can change. And that was a big win for Bob Dice. I like Bob Dice. Solid coach, solid man. His coaching record as a head coach, not overwhelming. That's just what the numbers tell me. I don't fire anybody on the show, but I do. Well, I'm about to fire somebody. I don't fire anybody in the league, like in terms of coaches or players. So I won't do that. But I think that win by the Ottawa Redblacks coming off a bye saved the season or saved the job of Bob Dice. With Rick Campbell sitting there, the guy who led them to a Grey Cup, 2016, then went to BC and now is back as the special teams coordinator when Bob Dice was his special teams coordinator when they won the Grey Cup in Ottawa. I think he's a coach in waiting. And kudos to Bob Dice. He's got a set of nuts on him to bring Campbell in on his staff. That shows you, hey, I don't care. I just want the best coaches here. Kind of like Dickinson did with Moss here in Saskatchewan. But I think that was a job-saving win by the Ottawa Redblacks for their head coach, Bob Dice. And before I go, let me read this thing from Ward here. This is Ward. These are Ward's words. Ask yourself, did any woke people not buy tickets because they were called the Eskimos? It was cancer culture time. Can't believe how far the Eskimos have fallen. I can hear Tom Shepard saying, buy your ticket to the lottery. The Edmonton Eskimos have money for players that we can't. We're just paying last year's bills. Man, it's a different time. That's true, Ward. Tom Shepard used to say that all the time. They and the Oilers ran neck and neck. Like Warren Moon, Wayne Gretzky, Matt Dunnigan, Doug Waite, these guys, they were neck and neck. They were equal stars, equal teams. In fact, the Eskimos were more popular than the Oilers for a good stretch there, especially during the decade of darkness. Now it's just terrible in Edmonton. Just can't get out of their own way. Good teams find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. I don't want to say they're a bad team, because I believe in Morris. I think Mark Killam's going to be a great head coach. But their record says they're a bad team. That's all I'll say. We got a new commissioner here. I'd love to talk to the commissioner. I don't know, folks. You're out there. You've watched my shows. You've heard my career for 30 years. Would you say I'm a pretty decent interviewer? Would you say I'm pretty professional when I interview people? Yeah, I'm rough around the edges. Yeah, I'm passionate. Yeah, I swear a little bit on the show. I'm like you and your coach are listening right now. Chuckling, talking. Like, I say the stuff nobody else will say. Who is talking about Eskimos in mainstream media now? Nobody. Yeah, I'm a white 52-year-old man. But I didn't really, unless I missed it, I didn't really see a lot of outrage with Inuit people. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Put it back to the Eskimos, 5,000 to 10,000 fans, and wins. Wins and money. Wins and money. It'll be big. It'll be beautiful. I don't know that I don't know that I necessarily agree with going Redskins and Indians like Donald Trump. But I don't know. I'm kind of okay with Eskimos. Maybe it's just because I think Eskimos are synonymous with winning. But anyway, back to what I was going to say. I've asked the commissioner to come on the show. And I was told he was going to come on the show, pick some times. But I'd say I want him this time. I'll come here. I'll drive back from the car lot to tape it. I'll do whatever you want. And he's on with 3 or 4 other people in mainstream media that lob questions like, so Stuart, how was your day? So Stuart, should we take the stripes off the footballs or not? So Stuart, what's your favorite stadium? Hey Stuart, do you like hot dogs with mustard or ketchup? I don't ask those questions. I'll ask him questions like, hey, Stuart, when are we getting rid of this bullshit global thing? Hey, Stuart, when are we going to, why as the commissioner or why as the head of TSN didn't you broadcast the combine and the draft? All 5 rounds on TV. Hey, Stuart, what do you think of full-time refs? Hey, Stuart, what do you think about streaming games but not streaming them correctly? Hey, Stuart, what do you think about getting a new TV deal with a competitor? Those type of questions. But for 3 months, I've been told you're going to get him, and then you don't get him, and then he doesn't come on, and then, oh, be patient, and, oh, he had this to do, and he had that to do, and he's traveling. I'm not begging for interviews anymore, so I can't ask him any questions. And I've heard him do other interviews, and he seems like a nice man. I don't know him from a hole in the ground, so I'm not cutting him down. I hold out hopes that he will be the commissioner we need. He's the most important commissioner because, quite frankly, Randy Ambrosie was a miserable failure as the commissioner of the CFL. Anybody that thought Randy Ambrosie did a great job, get out of here. Jeffrey Orridge was a better commissioner than Randy Ambrosie. Do you know how embarrassing that is? Jeffrey Orridge didn't understand what the CFL was. Okay? Yeah, did he give us a boring logo? Maybe, sure. But he was a terrible commissioner, Randy Ambrosie. He was a Canadian, and he never stuck up for Canadians. Under his watch, we went from 10 starters to 7 starters. We should be at 10, and there should be 5 Canadian starters aside instead of loading up 10 Americans and 2 on defense. These coaches are smart. They know how to cheat. It's not cheating, but they know how to bend the rules. So let's load up 10 and put 2 Canadians here. 5 is, at least go, when this CBA is done, at least go 4 and 4, 8, but I say 10. We either have great Canadians or we don't. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Anyway, Randy Ambrosie was a failure as the commissioner. So I have high hopes for this guy. He comes in here and he's on a listening tour. Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. This genius sports is laughable. There's nothing genius about their sports. That stats thing is crap. That is the worst. Listen, I'll say it again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. It's not the league that's broken. Like, the game isn't broken. Don't worry about fucking air horns at a stadium. Don't worry about half the shit you worry about. Worry about the fact that when I log on to your website and I go to push a bio, I can't get half the bios on players. And they're wrong, or they're empty, or pictures are wrong. Or The stats don't load during the game. This has been being fixed for 3 years. We're on our second commissioner who's going to fix this. Either fix it or dump it, because you look Bush League. That's when we see the Bush League talk come out. It's not the ratio. It's not the Canadians that are ruining the game. It's the messaging. It's the promotion. It's the give a shit factor. It's the give a shit factor. Well, we're looking at it. We got guys behind the scenes looking at it. They must have a playbook somewhere. Okay, when the thing goes down, this is what you say. Page 52. Okay. Yeah. So, we got guys on it. They're looking at it. The combobulation of the XY chromosomes aren't lining up with the generator, and our guys are on it. Like, what? Just fix the stats or take them off. Thank God I get scared to read the stats. I used to when I did the games, and I think he's 86 now. They still use him. John Hoffman. I had an 84 when he was doing it with me. I had an 84-year-old stats man in the booth. 84 years old that did a better job than the stats that they put in this league. So fix it. Fix it. Enough of the 100-day listening tour. Be the commissioner. Do something. Get out and talk. Get the messaging out. I don't want to hear about this isn't a pro league. And I don't want to hear about words amateurish from broadcasters. I want to hear this is a pro league. We are the most exciting football in the world. And then when you say that, back it up by having your stats and having everything work behind the scenes. Okay? Crazy. Yeah, I got this. Randy Ambrosi made a lot of poor decisions, and that killed the league during COVID. I do believe that Stuart Johnston's here to get a TSN deal, get some sort of TV deal. He knows the TV world better than me, so I hope he can get some sort of streaming going. We need 30 for 30s. We need a lot of documentaries. We need all the exposure we can get. That's why when a guy who's been covering the league for 30 years and is rough around the edges, but has a couple hundred people watch his postgame show live and then thousands more after, you might want to come on his show and get the message out there. Anyway, that's going to do it for my time. Let's see. I've talked for an hour and 22 minutes straight almost. That is a lot. My girlfriend's happy about that because when I get home, I don't want to talk. I want to thank Leander behind the scenes and Nicole and Dean at Gerhardt Studios. Ryan for calling in. I don't know why people are scared to call in. Call in. Call in. We got a couple of week break now. Riders win. Their next game is against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I got to get the date right here. Hold on a second. It's a home game, and all of a sudden, isn't that going to be a doozy? Bo Levi Mitchell comes in. Public enemy number 1. August the 16th, a 1 o'clock kickoff on Saturday afternoon. Tiger Cats at the Rough Riders. That should be a ring-a-ding-dong dandy, as they like to say. So we will join you then for that, but until that time, we will have a Ballsy and Cut 3 times a week where we're talking all sports, but mostly 3-down variety at all levels. Thunder fired up a preseason game against the Rifles. U Sports about to hit training camp here. And, of course, we're the 3-down defenders here with the CFL. For my producer, Leander, and Gerhardt Studios, I'm Michael Ball saying thanks for checking out the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show. Thanks for catching the show. A reminder, the best form of promotion is word of mouth. So please tell everybody you know about this show. As we grow this show, we in turn help to grow the game we love, the 3-down game. Catch you next time.